Chevy Chase's story is a classic rise-and-fall tale full of incredible highs, but eventually weighed down by controversy, arrogance, and alienation. On February 15, 1997, Chase walked into the halls of Saturday Night Live SNL, a place he helped shape from the beginning, but by the end of that night, he was banned from the show forever. It all began with a shocking incident. He struck a female cast member during rehearsals. Then came a stream of inappropriate, sexual remarks. It was behavior so offensive that even longtime colleagues wanted nothing to do with him. Over the years, Chase's presence on set had grown so toxic that cast members began quitting when he was scheduled to appear. Directors refused to work with him. Chris Columbus, for example, famously walked away from directing Christmas Vacation after a disastrous meeting with Chase, calling it the most surreal and unpleasant encounter of his career. Born Cornelius Crane Chase on October 8, 1943, Chevy Chase seemed destined for a different life. His upbringing was wrapped in prestige and power. Adopted into the elite Vanderbilt lineage through his grandfather, Cornelius Vanderbilt Crane, Chase was part of a family tied to one of the richest dynasties in American history. Yet beneath the shine of wealth, his childhood was anything but charmed. His parents divorced when he was 4, and he was subjected to years of emotional and physical abuse by his mother and stepfather, locked in closets and beaten. Those early traumas left scars that would quietly shape his adult relationships and mental health. In later interviews and memoirs, Chase would openly reflect on this pain, revealing a far more complex man behind the comedic mask. His famous nickname, Chevy, was bestowed by his grandmother after a 15th-century ballad about the Battle of Chevy Chase, a brutal skirmish between Scottish and English forces. The song carried ancestral pride, as Chase's family descended from the Douglas clan involved in the battle. That name, rooted in strength and legacy, would one day be known around the world not for valor, but for humor, and eventually, for controversy. Chase was a brilliant, yet rebellious student. He attended elite schools like Riverdale Country School but was often expelled for antics and pranks. At Haverford College, he pulled a stunt so wild it became legend, keeping a cow in his dorm room. Though he was academically gifted, he was also unpredictable. He graduated as valedictorian from Stockbridge School and later enrolled at Bard College, where music was his first love. As a drummer and keyboardist for a jazz group called Leather Canary, alongside future Steely Dan founders Donald Fagen and Walter Becker, he demonstrated natural rhythm and performance instinct. Those musical skills would eventually inform his legendary sense of timing in comedy. In the late 60s, Chase became part of Channel One, a bold experimental comedy troupe that ran satirical video skits across multiple TV screens. Their work inspired The Groove Tube, a film that grossed over $9 million on a $200,000 budget. One of its skits, a satirical news segment, would later evolve into the iconic Weekend Update on SNL. Before SNL, he also worked with the National Lampoon Radio Hour in 1973, performing alongside future comedy icons like John Belushi, Bill Murray, and Gilda Radner. That year, he co-wrote and starred in Lemmings, a parody of Woodstock that spoofed rock legends with biting satire and musical flair. Chevy's big break came, almost by accident, in 1975, at a premiere for Monty Python and the Holy Grail. He entertained people in line with impressions and jokes. Producer Lorne Michaels, scouting talent for a new late-night sketch show, took notice, especially when Chase fell into a puddle, soaked but still cracking jokes. That goofy resilience won him a meeting at the Chateau Marmont. Soon, Chase joined the original cast of Saturday Night Live. He was placed at the news desk, anchoring Weekend Update, a fake news segment that became wildly popular. His deadpan delivery, absurd catchphrases like "I'm Chevy Chase," and "You're not," and his impressions of President Gerald Ford made him a household name. In just one season, he won 2 Emmys and a Golden Globe, and New York Magazine crowned him the funniest man in America. His performance was so iconic that NBC even floated him as a potential successor to Johnny Carson. Yet, at the height of his fame, Chase did the unthinkable. He left SNL after just 1 season, becoming the first breakout star to depart. Officially, it was for love. He wanted to be near Jacqueline Carlin, his then-girlfriend in California, but his exit caused deep resentment. John Belushi accused him of arrogance. Bill Murray, who took his place, resented the fanfare surrounding Chase's return as guest host and even fought him backstage, resulting in a physical brawl in Belushi's dressing room. Despite behind-the-scenes tension, Chase's movie career skyrocketed. His first major film, Foul Play, 1978, with Goldie Hawn, was a box office success. He turned down a role in Animal House to do it, a risky but career-defining move. That led to back-to-back hits. Caddyshack, 1980, where his improvisational scenes with Bill Murray became instant classics. Fletch, 1985, in which his comedic improvisation earned him critical praise. And, of course, National Lampoon's Vacation, 1983, where he debuted as Clark Griswold, the well-meaning but hapless dad. The Vacation franchise became a cultural staple, grossing over $322 million, and cementing Chase as a bankable comedy star. By the late 80s, he was earning $7 million per film, about $15 million in today's dollars. But power came with ego. Chase was increasingly demanding on set, arguing with directors, fighting over billing, and creating toxic work environments. Though audiences still laughed, industry insiders began distancing themselves. His dark side was becoming harder to ignore. That darkness took center stage in 1997 during his infamous return to SNL. During rehearsals, he slapped cast member Sherry O'Terry, made lewd comments to female writers, and reportedly told one, "Maybe you can give me a handjob later." Farrell described the whole experience as abusive. Lorne Michaels banned him for life. That moment wasn't an isolated lapse, it was a culmination of years of arrogance, entitlement, and disregard for others. In the 1990s, his career faltered. Films like Nothing But Trouble, Memoirs of an Invisible Man, and Cops and Robertson bombed. His 1993 talk show, The Chevy Chase Show, was an unmitigated disaster, canceled after 5 weeks. Chase never connected with guests or audiences, and critics called him awkward and unprepared. The massive investment into the show, millions spent renovating a theater, was painted over within 48 hours of its cancellation. It was a public failure, and Chase admitted he'd never try it again. In the 2000s, Chase's comeback in NBC's Community was short-lived. While he initially brought star power as the eccentric Pierce Hawthorne, his toxic behavior quickly resurfaced. He targeted Donald Glover with racist remarks, saying things like, "People only think you're funny because you're black." Glover remained composed, but the atmosphere soured. Creator Dan Harmon believed Chase was jealous, unable to accept that his time had passed and new talent was rising. The tipping point came when Chase used the N-word on set. Actress Yvette Nicole Brown stormed off, refusing to return until Chase was removed. He was written off the show soon after, and during a rap party, Harmon led the cast and crew in a scathing chant, F***KU, Chevy. His wife and daughter were in the room. Even after his fall from grace, Chase remained combative. In 2018, he got into a road rage incident with a young man who didn't even recognize him. When asked later about his reputation, Chase offered, "Number apologies. I don't give a crap. I am who I am." And that, in a way, is the story of Chevy Chase, a man who helped define American comedy, but who, in the end, became defined by his refusal to change. From child of privilege to comedic genius, from cultural icon to industry pariah, Chase's life is a cautionary tale about talent unchecked by humility. His story leaves behind laughter but also a long shadow of missed chances, broken relationships, and the bitter cost of never saying sorry.